Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. This channel offers elementary art lessons taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I look forward to virtually creating with you. There are new lessons posted weekly. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. So go grab your art supplies and your thinking caps and let's begin. Hey, fifth graders, welcome back for our final part of our Audubon bird. Okay, so today we're just going to basically pick up where we left off. So I had not yet colored the second wing of my bird, so I'm going to just pick up right there. Notice how I keep my left hand that's holding the paper sort of on the left, away from the oil pastel. You want to try not to get fingerprints or anything over the paper as you are coloring. However, if you do happen to get a fingerprint or a smudge, something that's like a small little mistake of oil pastel somewhere else on your paper, like in the background, you can use an eraser to erase it. Now, it doesn't totally erase, it still leaves kind of a oily residue, even though you might not see the color anymore. So you want to try and be careful and clean before you get to that point. But if you do get to that point, you can use an eraser to erase most of the color that happens to be there. It just might leave a little oily residue. All right, so I'm just using my oil pastels like I did in the past, blending the colors together. Always use at least 2 colors or 3 or 4 in one area to get the colors that you want, and those lighter colors are fantastic for helping you to blend the colors together. So my peach and my white are invaluable at this point. I use them all the time to create those nice smooth color transitions. You want this to look like it's been painted. You don't want it to look like it's been colored with crayons, even if you are using crayons. So like right now, I would never stop with this particular wing. I need to keep going until it looks like the one behind it. Smooth and even, like it's been painted. Oil pastels are very similar to using paint in that way. And then don't forget, you can always go back in with the paper clip and scratch away to make that feathery texture. If you don't like it, you can always color it back over, but you can go in and scratch away that oil pastel to make that feathery texture. I'm going to do that a lot on my wings and the under tummy of my bird, not his head. This is the time to do it. All right, and then I'm going to move to the bottom of my paper. I realized I forgot to do his legs, so I'm going to go ahead and use black and brown to color in those legs. And then as soon as I'm done with those legs, I'm going to move on to the grass that's in the front. So when you look at my photograph that I've been looking at this whole time, in the photograph you can see some of the texture of the grass that's right in the front near his legs all the way across the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and color that in with my oil pastels, but the rest of the background is going to be painted. When it comes to the oil pastels, it looks really nice to have that color transition where the bird is the oil pastel and the background is watercolor. So make sure you watch the rest of the video before you make your choice. Some kids like to use oil pastel to color the whole thing, and that's okay too, but over all of my experience, I've definitely settled on liking the back as a watercolor painting and the foreground as an oil pastel coloring. Okay, and then finally, once that's all done, put all of those supplies away, and you're going to switch all that out for a tray of watercolor paints, a paintbrush, and a cup of water. All right, and when you finally have all your supplies together, then you're going to paint the background. So mine is kind of a tanny golden sort of color, and I don't have that in my watercolor tray, so I'm gonna have to mix to make it. So I'm gonna start with my yellow. I always start with the lighter color first when I have to mix. And when I'm painting in the background, you can go in whatever direction feels most comfortable to you. I usually go in sort of a diagonally kind of way like this, or straight across. I almost never go up and down. And what I'm trying not to do is I'm also trying not to make like a circle or a shape around my bird. I want the background to be behind him. I don't want it to look like I've circled him. So that's kind of a tricky thing to do, but let your watercolors go right up to the edge. Actually, the watercolors will not stick to the oil pastels. So you can actually paint right onto the oil pastels that are on your bird. So that way you can go right up to the edge and even into your bird a little bit. It won't stick, it'll sort of beat up and then dry, and you won't be able to notice it. So actually right there, I'm going like right onto his feathers, but you can't even tell because the oil pastel resists the watercolor paints. So I can go right into the pastel and it's not a huge problem. I got a little bit dark right there, so I'm working now to spread out that brown using water to move it around. I also moved some of it to the left side of my paper, and I'm just going to move some of it down. So if that happens to you too, there's always a way to, change it and make it perfect for whatever color you are trying to accomplish for your bird. Okay, then you're going to set that aside to dry, and from this point forward, you no longer need to compare your work of art to the photograph. So I'm going to put that photograph away. It was great while I was working, but now it's just the work of art. And that work of art is something hopefully that you are proud of and will hang somewhere in your house. These pieces of art are often some of my most proudest works of art of my students at HOB. So I hope your family feels the same way too. I can't wait to see them whenever they're finished. Please upload photographs to Art Sonia, and I'll see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking. HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Art Sonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.